Hang tight, folks. We'll get in here shortly and get started. Hello. I am Brad Trammell, Director of Operations at SparkRack.com. Happy to have everyone here. Looks like we've actually got quite an audience on YouTube, some on our website. We've got quite a few watching on televisions, which is actually pretty awesome. I like that. Smart TVs have the YouTube app built into it. Unfortunately, I don't see it unless I go into a special menu. So I do apologize for sounding a little nasally. I'm still kind of getting over a cold, which is actually why we had to reschedule the first time. Well, that and nothing was working, so we had to get that fixed as well. We'll bring up the face cam. Hello, folks. How are you today? I am doing well. As it says this way, Brad Trammell, Director of Operations at SparkRack. I appreciate having you guys with me. It did go through. This literally got handed to me. These are all the questions. We will also be taking questions from the chat on YouTube. So those of you who are on smart TVs, things like that, you probably, I don't know how it works on that. You may or may not be able to participate with the live chat on the TVs. I never chatted on a TV before. I don't even know if it's possible. Yeah, so we will be taking chat responses from the chat window. I don't know if it flips the video, but I think it's on this side. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll jump into it. I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. Normally we don't do anything on Sunday. It's kind of our day to do stuff, but with being closed Monday and Tuesday, it's time to get in here and do this. We'll go ahead and get started here. Our first question is actually from Jenna M, and it's on Facebook. And she says, I own an online store. Does my website need to implement SSL in order to thrive online? Should I, and how much does it cost? All right, well, let's get into the first thing. What is SSL? So SSL is if you go to any website that has, depending on the browser you're using, if it has a little padlock, that website is using SSL. What it does is it jumbles up the information that's being sent between the website you're going to and the website, or I'm sorry, the website you're going to and your computer. So what it does is it jumbles that information up on one end and then recompiles it on the other end. So in between, if someone gets their hands on it, they have no idea what it is. If you own an online store, do you need to implement SSL? I mean, I would highly recommend doing it. If you're going to be selling anything online, SSL is definitely the way to go. But you want to pick and choose your providers. You don't want to just find a provider and go. You want to find one that has a amazing track record. That's what you want. So like Komodo or GeoTrust or even McAfee and Norton all have impeccable SSL ratings. So I would go with a company like that. Unfortunately, we don't offer that, so it's not something I can sell to you. This isn't a sell. This is not a sell session anyway. I'm in here. I mean, if you guys choose to host with Spark Rack, that's great. If you're active customers now, thank you for your support. But this was not created to try to get more customers. This was created to help the masses, and hopefully if this goes well, we'll do it again in the future. I would like to do this because I couldn't believe the amount of responses we actually got from this. It was ridiculous. How much does it cost? That's a good question. It really depends on the type of certificate or SSL certificate or service that you plan on buying from that provider. Some of them can be like $40 to $50 a year. Some of them can be $800 to $900 a year. It all depends on what you plan on buying. Like I said, do your research, and if it's something you don't necessarily know, reach out to a professional. Most professionals, whether you choose to buy from them or not, most professionals are more than happy to educate you on SSL certificates. Excuse me. All right, so that was Jenna M from Facebook, and Christina L wants to know if it's better to buy a domain for many years at a time or just year by year. That is actually a fantastic question, and that never gets asked. So I'm very happy that someone actually asked that. That makes me very, very happy, actually. Is it better to buy a domain name for many years? Well, I mean, if you're invested emotionally, financially in a business, it does not hurt to invest in the online presence. So if you're going to be buying a domain name, we'll say, for example, example.com. If you go and you buy example.com and financially your business is going to be around for at minimum 10 years because you have enough money, enough resources, enough assets to get you through for 10 years. Well, it would be safe for you to purchase that domain name for 10 years. And that's something that they offer. If it is, excuse me, if it is a project or an event or something like that, you can get away with going year by year. I mean, there are some brand names that we actually own as either a parent company or as Spark Rack that we renew on a yearly basis because we don't know if they're going to work out. So instead of spending, $12.99 or $8.99 for times 10 or 8 or however many years we decide to renew it for, rather than doing that, what we're actually doing is we're just buying them year to year. So, I mean, that's a great question. I'm going to adjust the camera. Oh, no, we need to go, that way. Okay. So, it's a great question. And to be completely honest, it is really up to you. You don't have to buy many years at a time, but if you're going to be doing what you're going to be doing for a long period of time, there's no downside to doing it. For example, when we first opened SparkRack, I bought the domain name for 10 years because we knew it was going to be around. So that's what we did. I would recommend buying it, though. If you know your project's going to be around for quite a while, definitely invest the money in your domain name. That's very, very important. Edward M., what is the difference between hosting companies and why are there so many? This is a fantastic question, and I actually got asked this question recently by someone who was writing an article about web hosting companies, and they were doing an interview with us and a couple other, I wouldn't say smaller, but less nationally recognized hosting companies. And it comes down to two things. One, money, obviously. And the other thing comes down to customer service. That's really what sets them apart. You'll have companies, if you look at a side-by-side comparison chart of a company like SparkRack, and then I know I shouldn't be putting hands in front of my face, but if you look at a company like SparkRack, and then you look at a company like GoDaddy, we're identically the same. The only difference between SparkRack and GoDaddy is that GoDaddy has millions and millions of dollars. SparkRack, we have maybe $1,000 at any given time to spend on advancements and things like that, or more, depending on how good of a month it was. Why are there so many? That is a fantastic question. The reason there are so many is because there are a lot of people that think they know about web hosting. Let me rephrase that. There are a lot of people that know how to do web hosting or how to set up a web hosting service, but a lot of them shouldn't. And the reason is because they're either A, not accredited certified administrators, they have no idea what the hell they're doing, or they're just in it for the money. And that's a huge problem. That actually is one of my biggest pet peeves, is someone who will start a hosting company, promote it like hell, get out there, start making the money, and then they're done. The customers can take care of themselves from there. That's not how you run a hosting company. No, that's not how you do it. There are so many because everyone thinks they know how to do web hosting. It's not that easy. It's very, very difficult. I literally get about 3 hours a night ensuring that our servers stay online. So, I mean, if that gives you an idea of, how difficult it is. And we have 104 servers right now, doing a multitude of different things. So it's not easy. And anyone who says, oh yeah, I could just open a hosting company and it doesn't cost anything. No, that's not true. You're either, if you open a hosting company and you don't want any effort on your part, do reseller. That we don't do reseller. Everything we do, essentially reseller is you buy someone else's services to sell it again, and you can raise the prices. We don't do that. All of our infrastructure is company owned. We own everything. We don't resell with anyone. We actually don't even allow people to resell with us because I don't believe in reseller. I think that's a stupid idea, because you're creating all these faux hosting companies that can just do shady stuff with your services. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I don't trust people, but I would not recommend reseller hosting to anyone that is interested in a website. But again, that's my personal opinion. If you're a reseller, you like reselling, or if you are hosted with a reseller and it works for you, that's great. I don't think it's a very sound business practice. How do I market successfully on Facebook and Twitter? I knew this question was going to come up. With Twitter, it's actually fairly easy. You just kind of have to get your username out there and utilize hashtags. That's one of the great things about Twitter. We have gotten a lot of followers on Twitter solely because of hashtags that we've created, or just other businesses that are relevant to us that we've tagged in posts or things like that. About a year ago, we did a partnership with Intel for the XDK program that they had coming out. That they then abandoned. But we had a promotion going on with them where, if a customer signed up for hosting, they would get a template pack for free from Intel, one of the ones you had to buy, and we got a lot of recognition just from tagging Intel on there. So I mean, if you have excuse me, if you have people that you work with on a daily basis, either on projects that you have going on, or essentially anything, reach out to them, make sure that they're cool with you tagging them. And there's nothing wrong with promoting yourself and also promoting someone else. So all right, thank you. Oh, it's got a smudge on it. Christina M, thank you for that. All right, Lacey W wants to know, which is better for content management, WordPress or Joomla? To be honest, I'm not a big fan of Joomla, and I'll tell you why. It is extremely bulky, very, very bulky. And I've got at minimum 3 customers who can verify that within 10 seconds. We've had customers who have sworn by Joomla, almost to death, to be completely honest. And when we put Joomla and WordPress side by side because they were considering switching, WordPress won hands down. So, to be honest, it really comes down to I know I keep putting this in front of my face. I'm sorry. I'm getting yelled at. It really comes down to preference, to be completely honest. It's really whatever you want. If you are a fan of WordPress, use WordPress. If you're a fan of Joomla, use Joomla. Just be aware that each script or each version has its own set of requirements that are needed. So what may work for your Joomla installation is not always going to work for your WordPress installation, and vice versa. The scripts require 2 different sets of, I'm trying to think of the word right now. I can't remember. They require 2 different, it's essentially 2 different sets of rules. So a lot of stuff that you do with Joomla, you cannot bring over to WordPress, and a lot of stuff that you do with WordPress, you cannot bring over to Joomla. So, I mean, like I said, choose wisely the first time around. That way you don't have to worry about integrating, because that was a big problem too. All right, so Marissa S wants to know if she should worry about having a mobile app for her business, a mobile app or a website for her business. To be completely honest, it really depends on where you are, what the market is like where you are, and what your business is doing. That's really the important thing when it comes down to deciding whether or not you should have a mobile app. If you are a simple like mom and pop bakery, you don't really need a mobile app. I mean, you can get a mobile app if you want to invest the money in on that, but you don't have to have one. I had this discussion with someone recently about there's a local karaoke club who has an app that's supposed to be coming out sometime in April, I believe. So there's a local karaoke place that's supposed to have an app coming out in April, and the main question that was posed was, is it just going to have a mobile app, or is it going to have a mobile website? Does it need a mobile app? A lot of places where you have a lot of people in and out, and people will come, go, they will return, or essentially any place like that, you're going to want to have a mobile app. And the reason is because it allows people to kind of see what's going on when they're not there. It also allows them to see the changes when they're not there, things like that. I don't think that putting webcams on a mobile app is a good idea, though. Someone brought that up. I don't remember who brought that up. I think it might have been brought up in one of our meetings about this. And if you're wondering what I'm looking at, I've got one of my producers is actually on a screen over here. Oh, let's see. I should have brought a pen to really cross this stuff off. We are just not... Are you serious? Come on, dude. This one says... It comes from No Name. Are you single? Yes. I am married. Not interested. Anyway, Alex N. I knew that was going to end up in there. I knew this one was going to end up in here, too. I actually haven't seen these yet, so... A lot of these I'm reading for the first time. What is your stance on net neutrality? I knew this comment was going to come up. Mostly because we've written articles about it. I even posted something on our blog about it. To be honest, net neutrality is good. It is good. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. We need net neutrality. If you I really don't want to like dive into this and ruin the whole stream. But I mean, if you disagree with me or you don't understand what I'm talking about, go to our blog at sparkrack.com/blog and read the blog. It's got sources, it's got everything you need in there. It's important. Net neutrality, I mean, okay, I've spent the last 15 years of my life, or more, actually, 17 years of my life, learning the internet and everything I know, which is insane because I know 32 programming languages and can spit them out like that. I've spent my entire life learning this medium, and net neutrality is a core principle of the way that the internet used to, and has always worked, and the repeal is changing that. I'm not getting political. I am telling you factually the repeal is changing that. Anyway, so yes, that's my stance on net neutrality. This question was submitted 18 times. Come on, dude. Really? You were that desperate to get a response? Same guy. How important is web security, and is it on a host level or a site owner level? It is on both. It is your responsibility to make sure that no one can get your username and password, and it's our responsibility to make sure that no one can hack into your account. To be honest, it's a two-way street. I've seen issues with extended support customers where extended support is where you could pay us to troubleshoot issues with another web host. Because some people have, 2, 3, 4 accounts. Rather than you managing 2, 3, 4 accounts, you pay us and we manage all of your accounts from SparkRack. Anyway, so it's a two-way street. So essentially, the way that server security works is we have, here at SparkRack, we have a 6-layer security. So we have the security as soon as it gets into the building. We have everything secured. We have a pass-through filter that filters absolutely everything. And then we have, firewalls. And then we have the security systems themselves. And then we have the routers, and then we have the servers, and then into the servers they have their own security cards, and we have an insane tier of security. And most providers have that, so I wouldn't really, unless you have a really shady host, I wouldn't really worry about security from your host's end. The main concern is always going to be security from your end. And the reason is because a lot of people don't realize how important it is to actually have website security. It's very, very important. So you want to make sure that, if you're using a script like WordPress, or if you're using Joomla or Magneto or any other script you can think of, to be completely honest, there are applications, plugins, modules, whatever you want to call them, out there that can actually help you. One perfect example is for WordPress. There's one called Bulletproof Security, or BPS. Hands down, it is one of the best plugins for WordPress, and I recommend it be on every website. The only downside with that is you can easily lock yourself out. It's something they really got to change, because if you don't set it up correctly the first time, you can easily lock yourself out, and there's no way to get back in. You have to delete everything and set it all up. Unfortunately, we have run into that with customers a few times, and it's very upsetting for them, and it's upsetting for us, because no one wants to see a customer upset, except for Time Warner, because they don't like their customers for some reason. Anyway, I'm probably going to get a letter for that one. I can make a joke. What is the difference between an unmanaged and a managed server? This one comes from Mary T. Every last one of our questions is from Facebook. Did anyone else notice that? Interesting. What is the difference between a managed and unmanaged server, and why do managed servers cost more? Okay, so we actually had this discussion with a customer recently too. All right, so a unmanaged server is let's start with managed server. A managed server essentially is a server that you pay us, we'll say $99, and we take care of everything. We update it. We take care of its security. We take care of, the power. We take care of just absolutely everything. We take care of everything. Literally all you do is move your files, edit your files. That's it. We essentially do everything else. We take care of all maintenance. We take care of all, reboots, everything. An unmanaged server is, we literally plug it in, connect it to the internet, and it's yours. You do whatever you want to do with it. That's really the difference. The reason managed servers cost more, for the most part, is because you got to pay for that man hour. The man hours that get put into someone being there all the time to help you monitor or manage your server. So unless you I don't want to say that. Well, no. We'll keep going. All right. That was Mary T from Facebook. Thank you, Mary T. I appreciate it. And every last one of the persons, if I don't say your name, I'm sorry. I do appreciate the fact that you guys reached out to us tonight, or today. This is a key thing that we want to actually keep doing. So today is, it's groundbreaking for us, because we've never done this before. So I want to try to do this as, like once a month or something like that with the Q&A. It'd be great. Dwayne C. My home computer is running slow. How can I speed it up? I'm running Windows XP Service Pack 3 with 2 gigs of RAM. Well, Dwayne, depending on what you use your computer for, I would recommend getting a new computer. I realize that's difficult to say. You might not have the ability to get a new computer, but to be honest, that's a slow computer. It's gonna be slow no matter what you do to it. We have, for example, the computer that's sitting here next to me is 16 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of RAM, and it's fast. It's lightning fast. You gotta have a decent system if you're going to be doing with anything with graphics or web hosting or anything like that. On the other side of this wall here, I have a I have a quad core. That means it's got 4 processors. 32 gigabyte means 32 gigabytes of RAM. I remember when 32 megabytes was a thing. Oh, I'm so old. Sorry. Tangent. Computer, and essentially that does all our graphic design, video editing, stuff like that. I would recommend trying to get yourself another computer, to be honest. Things are not going to last with that computer. I'm actually surprised with Windows XP Service Pack 3 that it's still running. Yeah. Alex K. What is the difference between shared and dedicated hosting? I'm surprised this question didn't come up sooner. Shared and dedicated hosting. So dedicated hosting is essentially, we had this discussion about managed and unmanaged servers. So dedicated hosting is kind of similar in the fact that dedicated means you literally have your own server. It is your server. Shared hosting is there is a server, you are on it, but so are 500 other people. That's kind of what shared hosting is and dedicated hosting. The main difference of both of them is on dedicated hosting, if you change something and the server gets messed up, it's only really affecting you because it's a dedicated server. But on shared hosting, if you change something and you mess it up, you mess up the entire server. Like 500 other people or 499 other people. Now, a lot of hosting companies, SparkRack included, have safety measures in place to make it so that you can literally only break your own account. But that doesn't stop people from trying. They will try. They will. We had one customer in particular kept trying until we had to kick him out. Would not stop. And no, I will not say his name. We don't do that. We don't belittle current or former customers. Thank you, Alex K, for that from Facebook. Tom B. Oh, I wonder if that's Tom Baker from Doctor Who. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? What can... I know, right? What can a VPS do that a dedicated server can't do, and why are they different? That is a great question. A VPS is essentially a dedicated server. That's what it is. So why are they different? So a VPS is essentially, let's think of a computer. I wish I could do a graphic on the screen. That'd be fantastic. Can I do that? I'm being told I can't do that. So let's think about this for a second. You've got one computer, okay? We'll use my palm as the computer here. You've got one computer. This dedicated server is only you, okay? That's your computer. Well, what a VPS is that you've got the one computer, but then inside the computer are little other computers, and they can also have websites, and they can also have computers inside them. That's what a VPS is, all right? So with a VPS, you can have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 50, 100 servers on all using the same hardware and software on a computer, on the same computer. That's really the main thing of what VPSs are. I don't understand why there's a huge push for virtualization. I mean, I understand it saves floor space in saves floor space in data centers. It saves on cooling, it saves on everything, but not everything can be virtualized. Not everything should be virtualized. Virtualization is essentially taking a computer and putting it inside another computer. A prime example of things that should not be virtualized, mail servers. Do not virtualize a mail server. It is a bad idea unless you have a very, very good host machine, which is the dedicated server. Don't virtualize a mail server. It's a bad idea. Thank you, Tom B. Colleen V. DNS appears to be the bane of my existence. What is it and why is it so tricky? Colleen, I am with you. DNS, I hate DNS, to be completely honest, but it is a necessary evil of the internet. DNS is... Okay, I'm glad this came up because I don't ever get the chance to actually tell this story. So DNS is essentially a phone book for the internet. So if you think back into, the 90s or the 80s or the 70s or the 60s, or even the 50s, actually, when phone books were out, actually, I think they came out in the 70s. I think so. Not 100% sure. If you think back, when you needed to look up a business name or anything like that, you'd go to the phone book, correct? So the phone book is DNS. DNS is the phone book. So when you go to your browser and you type in www.google.com, The moment you hit enter, what happens is your computer goes to its phone book and it tries to find google.com. It then gets a IP address for google.com, one of like 16 or 20 I think they have, and then it sends that information back to you. Well, it's a little more complicated than that, but it sends the information, it gets the IP address, then it contacts that IP address, then it gets the information, then the information goes from Google to you in like a millisecond. It's ridiculously fast, but that's essentially what DNS is. Why is it so tricky? Well, DNS essentially, if you don't know how to manage it properly, you can actually really mess up DNS. There's a lot of great tools that are out there for those of you who are really starting to learn or really want to learn how to do DNS and adjust it so that it works best for you. One of them is called mxtoolbox.com. Another one is called IntoDNS, INTODNS.com. And then the last one is Pingdom, Pingdom. And all three of them are great tools for website owners. That helps you troubleshoot a lot of issues. But primarily, I think they started doing the stuff they do for DNS. And it's great. They're great tools, especially IntoDNS. It'll actually go through and double check everything to make sure there's no problems. I think I answered that question sufficiently. Colleen, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Is this Alex again? It is Alex again. I am worried about security for myself and my customers. How can I make sure that there are no issues with my website or server? To be honest, if you don't have a host that's upfront and honest about their practices, you're probably not going to have any control over the server. If it's a shared server or a VPS. If it's a dedicated server or co-location, a co-location is when you buy a system and ship it to someone to have them plug it in and plug the internet into it. That's essentially a co-location. It really depends on the hosting company. They may or may not share their security protocols with you. I know we will share a good like 65 to 80% of our security protocols with customers. But a lot of it requires us to not divulge it. You know what I mean? Like it's important to keep it a secret. Like the software we use, to be completely honest. How can I make sure there are no issues with my website? There are a lot of tools out there that you can put in your domain name. Excuse me, and they'll essentially scan your website and make sure you're not having any problems. One big problem that I see with anyone that tries to start their own server or hosting company, one big thing that I see is your web server telling everyone what it is. That's a huge problem because it gives bots and computers a advantage to be able to hack you, because all it needs to do is see, oh, well, you're using Apache, or you're using IIS, or you're using Jinx, or you're using, light HTTP or HTTD. I can't talk right now. We have a protocol for how to hack that. So, and we have a list of all the vulnerabilities. We'll definitely hack that because now we know what version it is. Well, a lot of people don't realize that you can turn that off. So they just leave it on, leaving their server susceptible to all of these attacks. Same thing with, DNS. There's three major DNS servers that you can use. And all three of them have the ability for you to go in and turn off that it echoes, or tells people what version it is or what it is. And most people don't realize you can do that, and most people also don't realize that's how DNS hijacking happens. And you have low security keys. Always make sure you encrypt everything. It's very important. It's for your security and the security of everyone else. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be back. It is 12:30 here on the East Coast, and I will be back sometime, say, within the next 5 minutes. I'm essentially just going to use the bathroom, get a drink, and come back. So stay with me, and I will be back. I appreciate it. All right, folks, I am back. Thank you for sticking around. Appreciate it. I don't see any questions on the chat, which is a little disconcerting. How many people are actually watching us today? Oh, there's quite a few of you. Hello. Hello from Central New York. How are you? Hope you guys are enjoying it. I did get a question, actually, but I gotta look at this real quick. Oh, we have an email. Awesome. That's awesome. I'm pulling up your answer right now. Give me 1 second. It is -2 outside, according to my phone. -2. Where's the camera? Oh, it's right there. -2. Yes. According to my phone, but it was updated at 10:26 a.m. So let's see what it is now. I'm not wearing my glasses. I wish I was wearing my glasses. Now it says it's 5. See? Not zooming in very well, or focusing rather. Yeah, I mean the it's been weird here lately. It's been very weird here lately. We had Wednesday, it was like 57 degrees, which was incredible. I mean, that was fantastic. There was like no snow on the ground. And then Thursday and Friday, over the course of the Thursday and Friday, we ended up getting, 1.5 feet of snow. And all in a matter of like 72 hours. It was ridiculous. And then actually, I'm not even sure if I've made any of our customers aware of this. My wife and I are expecting a baby soon, actually. Very soon, within the next couple of weeks. It's a boy, and his name's Caleb, and I'm very happy about that. I don't know why we haven't announced that. I just realized that we never announced that to our customers. I'm very happy about that. Now I can kind of get that out in the live stream. That's cool. Yeah. His name's Caleb Sidney. He'll be with us in a couple of weeks. She's cresting on 9 months. She's getting really close. or I'm sorry, she's getting on really close to the due date, which is supposed to be Valentine's Day, February 14th, but they said it could be earlier than that. So it's definitely going to be within the next couple of weeks. I mean, she's ready to pop like a balloon filled with air. Anyway, I think we're going to end it here because I'm not getting any questions, any more questions from the chat room, and I do appreciate everyone joining. We're gonna try to do this again. We're gonna definitely try to do this again because we got a great response. We got a lot of questions. A lot of questions came in. A lot of questions I actually did not expect to get. Mostly the "Are you single?" one. I don't know why that got left in there. We're gonna have a chat about that when I'm done. But the main, I mean, a lot of questions got answered, and I'm very happy about that because one of the big things that we like to do here at SparkRack is provide useful information that's both factually accurate and information that will help you, and I feel like we've done that here today. If you have questions or if you want more information about anything that we did today, head to sparkrack.com, click on Contact. I think it's under the About menu. Yes. You can also live chat with us. I personally answer phone calls and do live chats. So you will more than likely end up talking to me if you do enough live chats. So hopefully we'll get the chance to talk to you. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of your evening or day or whatever it may be where you are, because there's different time zones on the internet. Anyone could be anywhere. You know, you could be watching me from the Netherlands, which actually I do have someone watching me from the Netherlands, and I believe it's like 2 o'clock in the morning there right now, which is insane. Go to bed. Yes, thank you again. I appreciate every single one of our customers, and I actually just want to say this: if any of our customers are watching right now, I do want to say, from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of my family's heart, thank you very much for all the support you've given us. You know, we launched this company in 2012 as Punk Media, and our customers have not let us even come close to failing. We have the best customer base that I think any hosting company can have. We get almost 100% feedback for every question we ask. You know, every survey we do to ask how we can improve the service, we get almost 100% feedback every single time, and it is insane. I never expected for, you know, to have such a great group of clients, or, you know, I mean, not even clients, mostly friends now. I mean, at this point, we've been running this and doing this so long, we don't have a high turnover rate for customers. A lot of our customers have been customers since they started. For example, Holly, Jason, Bruce, Lewis, Jesse. We have a lot of customers who have been with us, you know, since the company opened, or have literally just, you know, signed up and never looked back to another hosting company. So for that, I do want to say thank you guys. We appreciate every last one of our customers. And if you want more information on how to become a SparkRack customer, go to sparkrack.com. Read the website. There is one page I will tell you definitely need to read if you're considering SparkRack. And it essentially lays out how SparkRack works and how we do business. And it's the About SparkRack page. Please make sure you read that. It's very, very important. Sparkrack.com and click on About. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I am going to go answer some support tickets because we have a couple that came in, if they're still there by the time I get back up to the desk. I'm going to answer some support tickets. We're going to plan out another video, and hopefully we'll be able to do another video within a couple of weeks or maybe a month or so. Everyone enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for participating. Thank you.